Hi, I'm Mark Johnson.
And I'm Hillary Marker.
On today's music news, Deer Hunter frontman gets into a copyright scrimmage with Sony.
What did critics say about the new Spider-Man musical?
Willie Nelson spends his Thanksgiving break in a Texas jail.
Hear about Amy Winehouse's comeback.
And find out which popular artists are wrapping up in the studio.
These stories, plus an exclusive live in-studio performance featuring the Wooden Wings.
Now on your music news. Lady Gaga is wrapping up her newest album entitled Born This Way. Recently, Gaga tweeted that this album would be full of endless melodies, hooks, and poetry. Although the album will not be released until 2011, some privileged people have had the pleasure of hearing parts of the album. Rapper Akon says the album is a notch up from Gaga's first album, The Fame.
The Strokes are also busy in the studio preparing their first album in 4 years. The band finally completed recording, and according to frontman Julian Casablancas, the album is currently in the mixing process. This album has been a long time coming, and little is known about the sound of the new album, but fans should expect it to drop in a few months. Now here's Royal with this week's album review.
No one man should have all that wine. With My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, it is clear that Kanye West's production style has evolved. He now incorporates orchestras and intricate, beautiful melodies into his work. But on the other hand, his personality has not evolved, as he writes in one song, "Choke a South Park writer with a fish stick." If you were already a Kanye fan, then this is an epic album with creativity and heartfelt delivery, and you should share in his fantasy. If you're not a Kanye fan, I'll admit that, well, his heart isn't very deep. But for all the people stuck on the fence, there's no rating this week. You just gotta go out and get the album and judge this one for yourself.
The last time we heard from Amy Winehouse, she was going back and forth between court and rehab. Now the wild songstress is apparently making a comeback, starting with a 4-date tour of Brazil in January 2011. Hopefully, her comeback will not be short-lived.
Last week, Bradford Cox of Atlas Sound and Deer Hunter posted Bedroom Databank, a 4-volume collection of demos, on his website. However, Sony Music removed 3 of the 4 albums, claiming that Cox was not authorized to reproduce and distribute these copyrighted sound records, which Sony alleges are owned exclusively by Sony Music. Bradford Cox is confused by Sony's actions, as his record labels are not affiliated with Sony. Cox has defiantly reposted all demos.
Is a Spider-Man musical scored by U2 and costing $65 million a recipe for success or a disaster waiting to happen? The curious public finally got their answer at the first public preview in New York City's Foxwoods Theater on November 28th. According to the New York Post, Spider-Man Turn Off the Dark was, quote, an epic flop. Throughout the performance, stage wires fell on the audience, scenery appeared incomplete, and numerous attendees left in the middle. To make matters worse, critics deemed the script and U2 score uninspiring. Who would have thought that the most expensive production in Broadway history would be such a disaster?
Willie Nelson had an eventful Thanksgiving break. On Friday, November 26th, his tour bus was stopped at a checkpoint in Sierra Blanco, Texas. Going off a suspicious scent, an officer searched the bus, discovering 6 ounces of marijuana. Regardless of the smell, the fact that it was Willie Nelson's tour bus should have been a red flag anyway. Willie Nelson was among the 3 people arrested, and allegedly he was unapologetic and made no attempt to deny that the marijuana was his. He was held briefly until he was finally released on a $25,000 bail bond.
Since we are Loyola's music news, we thought it only too fitting to share with you our favorite Loyola bands and artists through exclusive performances and interviews.
This week, we would like to introduce you to the Wooden Wings, a very talented duo relatively new to the Loyola music scene.
For additional performances as well as an artist interview, please visit iggyvision.com. That's IGGY vision.com.
And now, singing their original work, Songbirds, we give you the Wooden Wings.
Hi, we are the Wooden Wings, and this is live at Loyola. Blind eyes through a telescope, a world from another view. A frame and a camera lens, stale conversation for two. disco.